All right, Clint in the doorway too, hanging out with, I think it's Sven and Anna from Might. Pleasure to have you with me on this Sunday evening for you and Sunday afternoon for me. But other than that, why don't you tell me a little bit about the two of you and how the project started?
Thank you for having us. Yeah, I'm Sven, play guitar, drums, and I sing. And well, we are married, and we had a band before. The band quit, and we started Might just the next day. And now, 2 years later, we have our second record ready or released. It's already released.
Yes, I can introduce myself a bit. My name is Anna. I'm playing the bass and I sing a bit. And the project started, as Miss said, 2 years ago. We had another band. It was a bit more punk, maybe punk noise stuff, and it was great fun. But we decided to do some other things like Might. So we started just when Corona began. So we were like under, I don't know the word, this thing that saves cheese. What's the word in English? It's in German, I don't know.
But it's wrong.
It doesn't matter, like in a bubble.
Yeah.
And yes, ask the next question.
Because you got it.
I forgot the line and what I wanted to say.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. So we're going to talk about the two records first of all, and I'm going to ask you some questions about the band itself. But I kind of want to go over the two albums because I kind of learned about you in reverse. So I learned about you from Abyss, and then I listened to the debut. So I want to talk about the first record that came out about 2 years ago. Might. So self-titled, of course. But I feel like it's a little bit more kind of maybe primitive with a little more kind of punk rock feel to it and a little bit less dirgy and sludgy in the way that it was presented. But it's still like, if you listen to both records, you're going to know it's you guys doing the music. All right. But can you talk to me a little bit about the first record, how it came about and how you feel about it 2 years later?
You can start. I have to. I have to think about that.
Yeah, 2 years later, some points are right that you named. The sound is different, but I still like the record, and we're still playing the songs live. So, yeah, but we're now we've gone a bit further now we are a bit more open with the new songs. The last song on Abyss, Holy Wars, was already recorded for the first album, but then we don't thought that it fitted so good, and now it's on the second one. So I don't know. It's for me such a great difference between those both. It's Entwicklung. Develop. Yeah.
We have to search for a few words because.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Do not give interviews in English every day.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I think the range is it's bigger in the new album, and I can talk for what I feel about it. I think it's even less compromise than in the first album, because the first album we did the stuff we wanted to do, and in the second album it's the same, but some songs like The Piano and Me, these Who's Ahead or Tightrope Walk and things like that, didn't find their way in the first album because we saved it somewhere in a in a box. And now in the second album, we decided to let it get the place where it's from us. So we have only one band, we have only Might, no side projects, and so we thought it's consequent to put it all in an album and have a look or see what if people want to listen to it, because
No, perfect. Awesome. So I'm going to talk about Abyss a bit right now because I've really had some time to kind of digest that one and listen to it a lot more. So I feel like what you were just talking about is exactly where I was going to go with it. Is it's a lot more layered. There's a lot more kind of aggression meets kind of atmospheric mellow moments as well. Like there's a very diverse element, and the vocals I feel are arranged in a much more open experimental kind of way. Like the two of you both have very different vocal moments, and it's almost like when Sven's gonna sing or when Anna's gonna sing. Like there's just certain parts in the song you can feel that's gonna come, and I love that kind of vibe. The other thing I kind of want to talk about is this time out, I think you were a lot more adventurous, and what I mean by that is I feel like there's a lot of kind of post-rock and shoegaze kind of elements in the music as well too, where there's a lot of atmosphere and kind of more kind of haunting melodies. So could you talk a little bit about that with Abyss as well too?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh yeah, could you talk a little bit about how the new record is kind of it's more wide open. There's more diversity. I feel like there's a lot of different layers. It's not just like a sludgy heavy doom with punk rock elements. I'm going to say there's a lot of kind of like shoegazing and post rock and a lot of indie rock elements in it, where the last record didn't have those as much. So kind of talk about how you feel about that.
Yes, sorry, I had to ask because I don't want to say
Yeah.
another answer. Yes, I think it's what I just said. It's we put more from these thoughts or ideas we have on a Tuesday evening when we come from work. Then sometimes I sit in my room playing a bit with the bass, and then I recorded some things with my mobile or something like that, very low, not very complicated, just to save it and send it to Missu, and we collected more emotions, thoughts, ideas, and didn't select in this process. And then the range is bigger because we put it all in. Sometimes there's an intensive feeling. Then I feel maybe sad, or something happened that made me sad, or I'm just watching the news and then I'm feeling sad sometimes. And that's sometimes you feel fragile maybe a bit, and sometimes you feel the anger, and that's a very personal range everybody has. So I think it's just an authentic thing to put it in the music. So I had I wanted to scream or to shout, and I did it, and lucky me. And Shrine and so on, and there are other parts where I maybe feel to break in 1,000 parts. And I think that's a very human, it's very personal, and maybe kind of honest, I don't know. That's what I feel about it. So.
Cool. I really like the both sides, the loud and the quiet, and I like the contrast very much. And well, we tried to build a bridge between those this time, and they are far away from each other. Yeah.
Cool. That was kind of going to be my first real question: is it difficult to bring the two worlds together? Because at times, to me, this is very much like a kind of heavy indie rock record, and at other times it's a full-on like sludgy doom, like anger fest. Is it hard to blend those two sounds? Because you do it in songs where you will have that really dark kind of rock sound, and then it'll goes fully heavy, fuzzed out doom. Is it difficult to mix those two sounds in one song?
I don't think about mixing something or what song will come out later. All influences from music I've listened to Dinosaur Jr. and things like that, Neurosis, sludgy thing, doom, metal, all, and I think everything is together in Abyss, and I think it's true.
Cool.
For me, it's even easier that way because you have to cut a few parts of what you feel when you try to use this one road, and it doesn't feel natural. So maybe sometimes you have in the same song you want to say something, or you feel something, and then you make music, and then first of all you don't think about what you want to say, you feel it, and then when you think about what you want to say, I think it's okay to have this side and this side, and for me it's like I have to wear a corset when
Gotcha.
when somebody would say, please lady, just shout like in Lucky Me, or just around, what's the word, in sing like in Who's Ahead, then it would be a bit spooky because I'm not the one or the other one. It's a mix of everything.
No, very
So
cool.
it's easier to answer your question. It's not hard. It's much more. It feels much more free to act like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Cool. So that's what I was going to kind of say is I was going to throw a couple of influences out that I hear on this record, and I kind of wanted to see if they were influences to you as well. And it's not pigeonholing you as much as it's truly respect of the kind of vibe that I hear where it's so diverse. So there's a couple of bands in particular that like when I hear you, like it makes me want to go back and listen to them. So I think that's like a really good thing, not a bad thing. So the first one is Chelsea Wolfe. Like I listen to Chelsea Wolfe, and when I hear Anna kind of get very dark and emotional, it reminds me of early Chelsea Wolfe, like when she was more kind of goth and metal mixed together with everything. And then the other side I hear is like a band like Electric Wizard. And I'm talking about old Electric Wizard, like not the newer stuff where they kind of meld things in. But it almost feels like at times there's a mix of those two bands kind of fighting each other to make this really interesting sound. Are you influenced by either one of those, or is that something new that I'm just throwing out there?
I like both of them, and I of course I know them, but I think I realized that Chelsea Wolfe exists when somebody told me exactly that, and so I'm happy to hear people which like music like I do, but I know her maybe for 2 years, and yes, I listened to Patti Smith, or it's I like her very much. I think every time I listen to what we do, not in the moment we make the music, but later, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 years later, I listen to some records, and then okay, we can't. We must be honest. You listen to I don't know what, and I listen to L7 or Patti Smith or I don't know, other cool bands, and I think that's normal. It's the way you socialize yourself with music, as the same like.
Sure.
So, socializing, is this the word in English?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, just to ask, I don't know. Not that I'm talking some stupid things. Yes. You could say something too.
Yeah, I would say the same. And with Electric Wizard, yeah, I know them, but I don't have a record of them. But I've seen them on a festival, and I like them, but I don't. There's no influence for me.
Gotcha.
But I'm just remembering a little story about Electric Wizard. A few weeks before we divorced with our ex-drummer and the ex-band, he's a good friend of us, and everything's fine, but he likes other music styles than we like and wanted to do. And we were in our rehearsal room and made some music, and I started some new things with my bass. Just it was very dark and loud, and I just played around a bit, and he looked at me and said, "Wow, it's a voll der, what's in English? It's totally Electric Wizard bass." Okay, this was. I'm sure it was a compliment, and I went home, and then I googled Electric Wizard to listen to them, and I liked it. But this was maybe 3 or 4 months before Might started, so it's a logical way.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say is the guitar and bass tones to me have that kind of, it's a really cool dichotomy. Like when the guitar is less distorted, the bass gets more angry. When the bass is less angry, the guitar gets more angry. Like you blend it in this really great way. And that's kind of what Electric Wizard does too. And that's why I think it's very similar. Like you both know where you need to be. Like you're both not trying to play over each other, if you kind of know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've got an answer for that.
Okay.
We're a couple, so it doesn't work another way.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So I kind of want to talk about the bass and guitar tones for a few minutes because I think that's what is really the standout on this record versus the first record is I think you guys after 2 years have kind of realized not to step on each other, and you know like what's strong and what's your strengths and what your weaknesses. And it's got 3 really big kind of things to me. It's got these giant hooks when they need to have the hooks. It's super noisy when it needs to be super noisy. And then it's very quiet when it needs that mellowness. So when you record, is it layered? Is it something that you just put down live tracks and then add to it? Like, how is the best way that you guys create what you do?
You mean the recordings in the studio for the album, or when we are making new songs?
When you're making new songs.
Okay. What do you want to say?
No, it's when we make new songs. I have a feeling for the song. When I write a song, and I know where the next part is, so I don't think about that very much. And in the studio, it's of course a bit layered because sometimes we have a few more guitars when it's heavy, but it's the same thing when we play live. Then it's not layered, and we have no backing tracks except the drums live, because we are just the 2 on stage.
No, thank you. I appreciate that very much. So that was going to be you kind of brought it right into the next question. I was going to ask, how do you feel it's different live than recorded? So if someone comes to see you live, what's the different vibe that you're going to get versus listening to an album?
I think I feel a bit more the punk vibes in a live concert. I don't know, that's maybe because of I'm getting older. I remember my youth band. Normally when I'm writing songs, I'm very emotional. I am not thinking about that's part 1, 2, or no, how to realize that it's just a mood, and then it's chaos, and then it's very it's some kind of dark sometimes. But I'm not a dark mooded person, maybe because I do that music. I think life needs both, and this process when we invent new songs, it's another mood. And when we go out and songs are finished. We know what happens. We know part 1, 2, because we were in our rehearsal room, and then it's another resonance with the people come there, because it's not only us in our room. There are other people, and it depends on how we reflect each other, or the resonance. And then once it's like that, it's more punky, and sometimes it's just, okay, we are here, you came for the other band, and then it's kind of respect, but it's a bit less emotional. Yes, so I would say it's a totally different thing to record and then to play live, and I need both. We need both, otherwise we couldn't play live.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit, as Anna said, a little bit punkier on stage. And we have the drums as a backup track, but we don't play with a click. We have no metronome. So we have always parts where we can jam a little bit. So it's good to play free. So it's like a normal drummer.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So it can get lazy. It can get a little sloppy or be really tight. That's great. And that's what you want in a live experience. So no, I totally agree with you. So if I was to ask you, let's say someone has never heard Might before, ever in their lives, and they're about to listen to your band for the very first time, give me 4 words to describe your band.
Wow. For me, it's not easy to answer such a question.
You can give 2.
If someone asks me what music you are making, I always say it's kind of rock music, but I don't think this is rock music. So I would say, wow.
Words, 4 words. Yeah, it's like a game.
Yes.
Okay, I've got 1.
Noise. I would say noise and fragile.
Okay.
I would say grace. And yeah, maybe it's a bit. Yes, I would say love.
Nice.
It's maybe a contrast to what happens in the world, and then with my mood, and then maybe it's a wish. Yeah.
Cool. No,
you don't say
that's
we have
great.
to describe. Just grace and love is what comes in my mind.
That's perfect. No, like I said, I want it from your perspective, so that's perfect. Thank you so much. On top of that, you kind of both succinctly put it. You're kind of in 2 different musical worlds. So you guys playing live has got to be really interesting, because you're not truly a metal band, you're not truly a rock band, you're not truly you're kind of a mixture of both with that kind of noisy punk aesthetic on it. When people come see you live, do you get more of a kind of a metal crowd now, or do you get more of a non-metal crowd seeing you as a band live?
It's a bit mixed. We played last weekend, 2 days ago, and there was a Doom show with 2 Doom bands, and we opened that night, and there was they were organized from a metal crowd, and so there were many metal people. And after that, one person came to me and said, "Oh, I'm not so into metal, but you are totally psychedelic band." And then okay, that fits somehow, psychedelic. Yeah.
Anna, do you want to put anything to that?
Yes, I'm just thinking about it. I'm very happy when my father, for example, and his girlfriend, he's 80 years old,
Nice.
listens to our stuff and really wants not to dance like this. It's like he moves somehow, and this touches me. And I just want to say he's not a metalhead.
Yeah.
He listens totally other stuff, and I am very interested and everybody should be open-minded to get to know new bands. When people come after our shows and tell me what they heard in our show, or ask me if I know some bands, and normally I don't know 90%.
Sure.
The bands they tell me about, but later maybe I listen to them, or I'm just stunning because there are so much cool bands or bands maybe I don't want to listen to, but I think you would cut off possibilities to open your mind when you just listen to one kind of music. And sometimes I go to festival with Missu, and there are only metal bands, and I can't even read what kind of bands they are because I can't read this metal.
The logos.
It doesn't matter. I will go there, and normally there are at least 20% I like very much. And it's not. I'm not absolutely not listening to metal, but I'm not into it. I can't.
Sure. No, that's great.
About metal bands.
No. That's great. And again, like I was going to say is, you gave me a really great memory because I'm 50 myself, so I'm not a kid by any means. And when I was 20 years old, I was playing in punk rock bands and in bars and stuff. And my 85-year-old grandfather came and he gave me the greatest comment, kind of like what your dad did. He goes, "It's not my music at all, but you are loving yourself and the crowd loves it, man. So it makes me love it." Like, that's like, that it was the same thing. Like, he was just giving me his biggest praise in the world that he could. And like, that's what you want. You want that emotional experience, whether they like it or hate it, they want you to love it. And like, that's like, as long as you can present the music, it's always going to come across as real and true and good. Like, that's the way I look at it. So.
Yeah, that's great. And that's, I think, for me, sometimes it doesn't matter when I read a book or I go to the theater or I don't know, see a concert. Sometimes it touches me more to see somebody really feeling about the things somebody performs, and then I'm like, bam, and maybe I will never listen again because it's a person, it's a mood, it's a performance, and then it's great. That's what makes some what's the word for when the skin looks like a bird, Gänsehaut.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
What do you know? It's like, ooh.
Oh, chills. Like
maybe,
chills or yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, when something touches you very deep. So yes, and so that's maybe what your father said. So he saw his son, and I guess he likes you.
Yeah.
So he can read your mood or what you want to say, and he's thankful to see that. And so it's it would be easier for me in German, but I hope it's
it came across well. No, it came across well. So thank you.
Maybe you can make some this text under so you can translate.
No, this is the best way to do it. It's you speaking true to your music. So I love this. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is you're on a very interesting record label, Exile on Mainstream. They're kind of mysterious in a way that they have really no social media. They just put records out, and you either know about this label because there's bands you love, or you find them in the most interesting of ways. And I just kind of want to tell you, like, the way I found this label was a friend of mine that works at Svart in Finland was telling me about, like, you love all these bands. You need to listen to this label, Exile on Mainstream. And all of a sudden, like, 10 of the bands just spoke to me, and I've been listening to that label ever since. So I want to talk to you, like, how did you get together with this label, and why do you feel like that it's kind of a special collective of bands versus any other record label I've really listened to in quite some time?
Mm-hmm. Andreas, who's running Exile Mainstream Records, is a good friend of us, and I know him for over 25 years before he started the label. And I have a band years ago, and he released the album very at the start of Exile Mainstream. And then we have haven't had contact for maybe 15 years or something, and then we met again, and everything was great. And then was the moment where we started Might, and things came together. And he said, "Oh, why don't we make it together?" And it's perfect because we love all the bands on there. We are friends with Tridion and Conny Ox, Friedemann, so many friends. We meet Confusion Master, Gaffer. We meet and tour together and play together. It's a collection of friends. It's really a family.
Cool. Yeah, I think for me that's the first place. I love the mixture of music. It's there are, like we talked before, it's from this side to this side, but it's all it fits together, and Andreas creates something like a big family, and the slogan love, noise, freedom, it just describes what happens there. And I met him, I think, about 10 years ago for the first time, and then we met each other in the summer and met other friends and so, and then we began with Might, and we just wanted to make a CD, and then he made what you don't want to make a ugly CD. You have to make vinyl. Why not? Yeah, and then we just said, yeah, okay, and he said, oh. And then there were not much more words than we were in the Exile family. And I'm very thankful for that, and I'm very thankful for the great music I got to learn in this time, and even more for the great friends I met. For example, you said it, Tridion. It's a great band. I don't know if you listen to them, and they're great people. And yes. Cool. Before I start again talking about love, please, the next question.
No, it's good.
I have to keep a bit from my coolness.
No. Trust me, all us musicians are nerds and like love to really talk about. That's just who we are. Like, don't let it fool. The cool factor is the things we talk about that others don't know about. We can have a big collective of loving different kinds of music, finding out new things. Like, I mean, being on tour, I learned more things about life and like friendship and like the world than anywhere else ever. So I completely understand where you're going with this. Yeah. So I want to kind of talk about the album cover for Abyss, because I really love it. And I feel like it portrays a story of the record itself. Now, it may not be an actual concept record where every song has a storyline to the picture, but I think that artwork tells a big story of what the record's going to sound like. Can you kind of talk about the artwork and how you feel it ties into the record?
Yeah. As you said, I think it's perfect for the music because it sets so much in the picture. And I'm a very big fan of the artist. And sadly, he died, or he was murdered in 2005. But all the rights were now in a museum in Poland. And I called the director of the museum and asked him if we could use this picture for the record, because I had this picture in mind and thought, oh, this would be fantastic for the new album, but I thought never ever. And I called him and he said, yeah, no problem, do it. What?
Wow.
Yeah. We made a contract and that lasts a few months, but he's a very nice person, and we hope to drive there next year to see all the pictures, the paintings in original. And yeah, I think in this picture is dark, but there's also so much love and hope in this picture. Yeah, it's perfect for the music, I think. Yeah.
Did you want to say anything about it, Anna, or?
I think he said everything.
Perfect.
Said hope I would said bluff again. No, he found the picture, so
Oh, very cool.
he said everything. I was very happy because maybe just this I felt a bit sad that when we finished the album and everything it worked and we could use the picture. I'd like to show our music to the artist because I feel something like I think he would understand exactly what we felt when we made the music, and that's what's really sad because I would like to send him a record and say thank you or just something like that.
But the director of the museum likes the music. He likes also the debut, and that's also very nice.
That is very cool. No, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
So I guess the next thing I'm going to kind of ask is there any kind of music that's off the table for Mite? Is there any kind of, and I'm not talking about like classical music or rap or anything like extreme, but is there anything that you wouldn't add into your music on the next record or future record, or is everything a possibility?
For me, it's reggae. I don't listen very much to reggae. I never listen to reggae, to be honest. So I don't think this would happen. But classic, maybe.
Okay.
But rap, no. I would say no. The reggae is it's very far out.
Gotcha. How about Anna? Anything that you would never want to be able to put on a Mite record?
I don't know who I will be in 1 year. Maybe I will I will listen to other stuff, and I think it's very important that you go open-minded to the world, as I said. So I don't like to yes, I don't listen to rap and reggae too, but I love that other people listen to it and make that it's their genre. So I don't think that will be part of our music because it was never in it or in my nicht timetable, mein Plattenspieler, it's word. Turntable. Yes, but who knows? Maybe I'm another person in 5 years. No, not another person, but maybe I listen to other music. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the last question before I kind of turn it over to you guys to kind of tell me what's upcoming, what's going on, what's happening, and kind of talk about your band is there anybody that you want to collaborate with? Is there like one artist that like either one of you would love to be able to have on a Mite record, and why?
First one comes to my mind is David Bowie, but yeah. It's yeah. So many ideas.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, the first thing after David Bowie would be Tridion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Anna, what about you?
Make a split or a song together with them.
Yes, that's the way I got to know Yvonne from Tridion. Now we're good friends, but we got to know. We were on an island here in northern Germany and visited friends, and we were outside, and I didn't know she made cool music before, but we were there, and the fire outside was there too, and then we started to sing and to shout together, and it was very great. And that's how we get to know. So yes, I can imagine that too, sure, but I'm sure we will do that one time. I don't know.
That's cool.
Maybe Patti Smith.
Okay.
Because just maybe I would love to listen to her because she says sometimes things like there was an interview, Advice to the Youth, I think, and she said at one place save your name. That
I
was
got
her
you.
advice to the youth. And I don't know, I'm just thinking about it. But that's not the musical part of this answer. Maybe I should
No,
meet her and
no.
drink about 10 cups of coffee.
No, that's great because you guys definitely do have a very 70s New York City punk aesthetic. And it's not buried in the music, but it's definitely there. Like you can hear it. So like when you name those bands, yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, I it might be weird to say, but like I can hear stuff like the Talking Heads. I can hear stuff like Patti Smith. I can hear stuff like you know, it's probably weird for you guys being the music that you make, but like the Smiths and stuff like that, because you can hear it in your music. Like you can hear those guitar tones, those bass lines, that almost 80s new wave kind of vibes that get mixed in with your music. So I think that's the reason why I love it too, because I'm a product of that 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 generation, and I've gone all the way through and I've listened to it. I mean, I used to in the late 80s, early 90s. I lived in New York and New Jersey, and I used to go to hardcore shows at CBGB's all the time. So I lived that world. I played every Wednesday night at CBGB's for 3 years straight. We were one of the house bands there. So that's why I like what you do, because you mix so many different elements together. It's familiar and comfortable for me, but yet new and interesting because of the way you mix all the sounds. So,
Okay.
but I just want to say like thank you for the music that you make, because I don't do a lot of interviews, but I do interviews with bands that emotionally make me feel connected, and that's what your band does. So that's why I asked for this.
Thank you,
But
Brian.
oh no, you're very, very welcome. So the last question I'm going to do is kind of turn the tables, give it to both of you, and tell us what Mike's going to do for the next 6 months to a year. What do you have planned? What's going on? Talk about your band.
Today we talked about going to make a US tour, maybe. That's what we were talking today. Maybe it's yes, it's a freaky, spooky idea because we just started. But so we always start things like that. I don't know what's the plan. The plan is to meet some friends the next weekend in Berlin, and there's an Exile mainstream festival, and I love it because my birthday is on Thursday, and I will have a birthday party with all those friends, and Andreas from the label, his birthday is same day, and that's great. That's what I said before. It's like a family party, and then we will play there and we will listen to the others, and that's great. And then we'll see. Maybe when for me it's every time we finished one album, it's like I don't know the word. What's the word for when you need to do something?
Oh, you do like a desire or a drive to do it? Yeah.
We just finished. I put the last tones or from my bass in the recordings, and then I go out and say, okay, I won't do anything for the next few weeks. And that's what I had when we finished. I went in the garden, sit there in the sun, and think, okay, it was hard work. I will do nothing. And then I saw a butterfly died under the tree, and I looked at that, and then I had to take my notice, and I just wrote a new song because it came out. That's I will have a look what word, so you can talk now, and I will look in my dictionary.
Yeah.
Wait a moment.
Yeah, we think about concerts for the next time. We have the first album was released on a label from Italian label. They released a tape edition of 50 tapes, cassettes, and he also wanted to make the Abyss on 50 cassettes. So might came out. And he also, we talked about a tour through Italy, maybe next summer. But today we talked about US tour. We don't know. It's because, but it's easy. We are two persons. We don't have much stuff. The drummer is on a laptop. So we just have two cases and can fly through the world. That is easy. We don't need much.
It's not easy every time for me because I have to look at him twice, and it depends on how the vibrations are. That feels good or not. I found the word. I just, you know, when I said the obsessive compulsive disorder.
Gotcha. OCD. Absolutely.
That's what I feel when we finish the album. So I have to write new songs, and that's a bit what's between the lines. No, I'm collecting fragments, and I love
That's
it.
awesome. No, that's great. Again, thank you so very much. And if you do come to the U.S., I will absolutely be there. I will hang out. We'll meet. We'll have a drink together, and we'll definitely talk. But like I said, Sven and Anna, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad I got to do this with you two today. Yeah, like I said, continue on because you make music that inspires me to make new music, and that's what people need to do. Is we all need to inspire somebody to continue on because new music, original music, live music is things that needs to continue and grow. Like if it dies, it's going to be the death of the world. Like that's just like that's what we need to make sure it happens. But again, Clint from the Doorway too, hanging out with the folks from Might. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, and it's so great to hear that our music inspires you to make music. As you said, that's the point. That's why we're all making music. Yeah.
For me, it's the most. It touches me most when people give me a feedback. They feel something when they listen to that music because that's why we do it. So we say something or we feel something, and it feels good when somebody understands. Maybe it's not you don't know what happens in my life, but it happens something, and I think people are not that different. It's there are a few feelings we have or thoughts, and then when we meet through music and through arts, and it does not need you don't need to see the same pictures or something or thoughts because everybody has another life. But when you make other people feel something in their world through the art you make, so it's the best compliment. Thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
No, you're very welcome. And again, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. You guys have a great Sunday for the rest of your Sunday. So
you too.
Thank you. You
See
too.
you somewhere in
absolutely.
tour.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.